Yeah, that's another good question. So when a protocol lives as a static document today, right, an amendment happens and that triggers a downstream of really manual processes today. And it affects all downstream systems. So for example, clinical operations has to identify what are all those impacted areas, the data changes that need a change downstream. That might include data manager needing to update EDC. It might also include, changes to IRT. All these different systems that are traditionally done manually. And so, with all of that handoff from one thing to another, including, site training that will be required. So there's just so much complexity behind just one amendment. So with all that handoff, errors and delays can occur, as we all know. And so when you have a protocol that is structured data, that really gives that dependency map clarity. So real clear path, right, where that data needs to go, and more automated in that way. And so, for example, when you have a change in a visit window in a study, that's not just a text edit anymore. That visit window change becomes a data object that then has relationships also downstream to other data objects. And so that's what allows for this automation and change downstream to occur simultaneously when you have an amendment that is happening within a protocol that is digitized in a system. So it really, expedites and automates that entire workflow. And so what I think really excites me about, this idea, right, this concept, and what's happening today and what we're building today, is that we can add on this AI agent layer on top. And so by adding that layer of this agent or agents that orchestrate all the work, all the manual work that's being done, it's really acting on, having that ability to act on all the amendment events, as I mentioned. And so the protocol then stops from being a human interpreted document to really being a reliable instruction set that sets that can execute, systems can execute against, that is validated, that is connected as that connective tissue from the protocol all the way downstream to the end. So it's critical. I think it's critical to have this happen. And it will only work if the data is structured from the very beginning. And so protocol digitization is that upstream enabler for everything downstream as well. So the protocol defines, as we know, right, what data is collected, when, where, what intervals, and that sort of, important context. And also what endpoints are critical to all of the activities that are happening. And so when that definition or that data is stored as structured data, that actually can automatically seed and feed the study's data collection schema in CDISC compliant formats that then the FDA's review systems can hopefully consume and then therefore allow for their review. And so when sponsors digitize protocols, they're not just solving for a startup efficiency issue. They're actually creating a structured foundation for this continuous regulatory data review to be possible. So for example, every amendment, every endpoint, or every visit scheduled becomes a versioned data, that data point that then can be validated, transmitted, and reviewed all in real time.